I'm Michael Pearl, and you are here at the Daily Bible Manna. We've been going through the book of Romans, and so let's go right back to where we left off the last time. And I have to find where I was when I left off the last time. Okay, we're in chapter 3 here, and he's given an argument that we are all sinners. Now, he's giving a long list of sins. Let's look at those. He starts off with saying, they're all gone out of the way, they together become unprofitable. That's in 3:12. And then he says, their throat is an open sepulchre. They've used deceit with their tongues. So deceitfulness and lying is one of the first sins. Mouth is full of cursing and bitterness, another sin. Feet are swift to shed blood. What does that mean, swift? It doesn't just say not they kill someone, but their feet are swift to shed blood. You know, you can carry a pistol for self-defense, or you can be in your home for self-defense. And someone can break in, and they're unarmed. You have a right to shoot them, at least in Tennessee or Texas you would, if they've broken into your home. But your feet shouldn't be swift to shed blood. In other words, you should think like arm yourself like a soldier, but then think like a pacifist. Think how you can preserve life. Think how you can have mercy. Think how you can not bring harm. And so, you're a policeman. Your feet shouldn't be swift to shed blood. You should find whatever alternative you can before you use lethal force. In the military, same thing. The idea of just going out and killing the enemy, if you can spare the enemy, please do. It's a matter of the heart. It's getting to that place to where you'll want to kill. You're quick to kill. Taking a life is a grave, grave thing to do. Sometimes it's the righteous thing to do. But not swiftly. Never be swift. If your life's in danger, you need to be on a swift draw, but the idea of just lusting after an opportunity to use lethal force is a great sin. Destruction and misery are in their ways. If you do any marriage counseling, you know that destruction and misery are in our ways. Deal with children that have been abused. Destruction and misery are in our ways. Church disputes, destruction and misery are in our ways. Things at work, between family members. The way of peace they've not known. That's a mark of sin, is lack of peace. You know, righteousness brings peace. And when the peace goes away, it's because the heart's troubled with its own guilt or shame. Where the heart is satisfied that it's walking in righteousness and truth, there's great peace. There's no fear of God before their eyes. That's another one of the sins. You say, a lot of modern preachers, translations even, interpret that as respect or honor. They say you ought to fear God. They say, no, that means respect God. No, it means fear God. You know, someone that knows everything you're thinking and knows the motives of your heart and is prepared to send you to heaven or to hell based on what's found in the heart. And the devil puts opportunities of sin before you. You need to fear God. It's only sane to fear God. I fear God. I have a sense that if I did the wrong thing and stepped out of the golden path, that God would bring swift judgment upon me. And I'm scared of the judgment of God. Any sane person should be. Now, I walk in the light, so I don't walk around with that fear. I don't walk around with that sense of impending doom. But it's always there, that knowledge in the background, that I'm dealing with a very serious God. So no fear of God is one of the sins. Now we know that what things soever the law saith, it saith to them that are under the law, In other words, the law is written to people that are subject to the law, that every mouth may be stopped and all the world may become guilty before God. So everything Paul has said up to this point has been the unfolding of the law and the righteous judgment of God. And he said it's given to those that are under the law so that every mouth may be stopped and all the world become guilty before God. I remember going to trial of a man that I hoped was convicted, and he smarted off to the judge, thought he was going to con the judge. The judge told him to shut up. The judge said, "One more mark and have you removed from the court." That's the first time I'd ever seen his mouth stopped. He feared the judge, as rightly he should. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, this is a conclusion of everything up to this point, Romans 1, 2, and 3. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin. In other words, by keeping the 10 Commandments, you will not be justified, because the 10 Commandments cannot justify you. They can only reveal your sin. And so in attempting to keep the 10 Commandments, you document your failures. And in so doing, you document and justify your damnation. For the deeds of the law shall no flesh be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin. But now the righteousness of God, and we're going to come then to how we can be justified. And we'll wait till next time because it'll take too long. So if those of you who have followed me up to this point feel a lot of consternation and fear and insecurity, good. We're fixing to set you free from all of that with the good news of Jesus Christ. Stop there for the moment.